Welcome to Quantum Revenue Expansion, where we share time-tested strategies to turn your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Ready to up-level your business and your life? Then you will love listening in on the lively conversations Ursula has with her clients and guests as they share exactly what they did to grow and scale their business exponentially. Plus, you will discover how to experience more freedom, joy, and peace in your business and your life right now. If turning your annual income into your monthly income is your next step, then join us at the next 2X Intensive. Go to ursulainc.co/apply.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Quantum Revenue Expansion, the podcast where we talk about turning your annual revenue into your monthly revenue. Super excited to have you back with me today because I have a very special guest. She's a two-timer on Quantum Revenue Expansion. I have the amazing Danielle Rama-Hoffman with me here today. So good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world to you, Danielle.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here. And of course, we're 2Xing, so my second time. Thanks for having me back.
That's right. I love it. Of course we are. And we're celebrating something amazing that's going to be happening for Danielle. So we will let you know all the details in a moment. But before we do that, just a couple of housekeeping things. We love hearing from you. So thank you for all of your emails, your comments. We put this up on YouTube, and I want to give a shout out to Patrick. Patrick is one of our, he is our super fan, and he comments on everything. And Patrick, we love it when you comment. So thank you. And I can't wait to hear what you're going to think about Danielle today. And to all of our clients, if you haven't yet, you can download our free masterclass, Quantum Revenue Expansion. Pairs nicely with the podcast. And that's on my homepage, ursulainc.co. It's just right there. You can access it. We'd love for you to have it. All right, that's it. That's all the housekeeping, because I have so many questions for Danielle, because today we're talking about one of my favorite topics, one of all of your favorite topics, accelerating your manifestations with Magdalene energy. Now, if you haven't heard Danielle's other interview, definitely go back and listen to that if you want some background before we continue, because we're going to dive into the middle of the pool, because some of you might be like, well, what's Magdalene energy? Well, she's going to talk about that today. So Danielle Rama-Hoffman is a channel, founder of the Ascended Mastery Lineage of Thoth, legacy work coach, and a leader of the evolution in consciousness. She's the author of Magdalene Manifestation Cards, The Temples of Light, The Council of Light, and The Tablets of Light. She helps light workers embody their divine self, fulfill their highest mission, and channel their legacy work through books, programs, or modalities. She's originally from the US, from Seattle, Washington, but now she lives in the dream world of Southern France with her horses and her beloved. I just love saying that you live in Southern France, because we all at times wish we were living in Southern France. So Danielle, super excited. Again, I looked forward to this all week, like just to have time with you. And for those of you who didn't listen before or don't know, Danielle and I hung out in a different coaching program with our coach, Elizabeth, for like over a year. And we got to know each other, and we become just, I would say, soul sisters in a very beautiful way, because I feel like we pick up right wherever we left off, wherever that was. There's not, like, time isn't a big thing for us. So I appreciate that. And Danielle, when I first met you, like, you blew my mind, because I'm like, what are all these things, these magical things I don't know about in this space that you've embodied, in these bodies of work that you've channeled. So let's just start with, and also you're launching the Magdalene Manifestation Cards deck this month, which I can't wait to see, because I know they're going to be beautiful. So can you tell us a little bit about just a short, like, your story, what brought you to the Magdalenes, and what has brought you to bringing these cards to life, which everyone will have access to?
Yeah, well, the story, right? Where does it start? I feel like I just kind of came in this lifetime to contribute, to be of service, to help folks, and that my sweet spot has really been in working with the non-physical energies to also create on the physical plane. I love creating. So I've been in business now for, like 25 plus years or something. Yeah. So like Madonna, there's been many iterations. Right. That probably dates me, but anyhow, And, been channeling the Council of Light and Thoth or Thoth, the Egyptian god of infinite wisdom, keeper of the Akashic records. And so I've had a connection with guides and working directly with them to bring in the bodies of work. And as a pro tip or a side note, that's also really when my business started blossoming, when I transitioned from like teaching other folks stuff to really bringing in my own bodies of work, which is why I'm so passionate about assisting others in midwifing your legacy work. And so the Magdalene started coming in like little places in the channelings, and the guides always come in response to our calling and our asking. And when the Magdalenes came in, they were very clear that we as transformational folks or folks on our path, like a lot of us have developed the masculine energy or the light as light workers and or change agents or difference makers. And that now the next step was really about opening to love and opening our hearts. Our hearts are one of the most receptive areas in terms of manifesting in our body, and love is one of the highest frequencies, and all that we want to manifest, of course, is moving at a higher speed, and love is very inclusive. So yeah, the Magdalenes just started showing up like here and there, and then the codes started dropping in, and then in 2020 it was like, okay, now's the time to really download this. And the 20 codes, the Magdalene codes of love came in, and I offered the first program 11/11/2020, and then have been kind of working with them in our core program, the Magdalene Wealth Codes, behind the scenes. And when they came in, the Magdalenes were like, this is to be published to the world. Like, this is for tens, hundreds of thousands of individuals. So, fast forward 4 years later, we're really now at the moment where it's coming into form to have folks access it. And I really love the system because I feel like it's one of the keys to why we unlocking why we bump up into upper limits or ceilings.
Yeah. And I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you with the Magdalenes and the Magdalene codes, and that was a beautiful experience. And so I'm excited to be able to hold the cards. I think that's going to be a really cool experience to have them, like with you every day. And so one thing I do want to say, I always giggle because you and I are both projectors. So if you know about human design, like we're in the space of projector, and projector is kind of interesting because it's like you're waiting for the invitation or you're inviting people, but there's a lot of nuances to that. And one of the things I always admired about you, because first when I found out I was a projector, I'm not going to lie, I was horrified, Danielle. I was horrified because I've lived my life as a manifesting generator. I would have bet $10 million. I would have just put it down. I was like, I am a manifesting generator. And so then I was like, a projector. And also it explained a lot of things. Now, my first limiting belief that popped up was like, oh, well, you have to work differently to have a 7-figure business or to have multi 6 figures or to have, to be able to grow. And you're this model of a 7-figure business owner. I just want to point out that while you're in the healing space, so everyone knows, you also have the ability to hold a lot of financial energy and a very expansive business. And I think that I just want people to know that, because my sense is that's one of the reasons you're on the planet, is to help light workers and soul workers expand their prosperity as well. And I know that through the Magdalene codes, that's a big part of it. Anything you want to share about that experience of expanding really your quantum revenue and what you were willing to allow in, especially being in that quote unquote healing space, where I feel like in some places that's not always accepted.
Wow, such an amazing topic, and so many different that I could go
deep with that, but I'm just hitting you with the big questions today, Danielle.
Yeah. Well, I really feel the essence of it for me personally, and I also see this in a holographic way, like every line on the hologram is representative of the hologram. So for me personally, and what I see a lot with our clients, and like when you come up a limiting belief or upper limit block, is that often there are two aspects of us that are amazing gifts that we have that are in conflict, that don't seem to go together. Like my journey definitely began more on the spiritual side, and there's a certain let's say legacy from past lifetimes, from like the whole you should give away your work for free kind of broken healer archetype, which, or that we do healing because something's wrong, or those kinds of things. And then, I remember when I first started marketing, like folks in my community were like, you can't do that. Like, you can't invite people to work with you or use those kinds of things. So I think that was, for me, one of those fears. And that I see a lot is that fear of like losing love or, being ostracized from the community. And you're absolutely right that I feel like I'm here to model the blend of not only do I have the capacity to access the higher planes, but I'm very physically plane oriented, detailed, the business structures. I love geeking out on all the entrepreneurial stuff. And so that's my blend, that now they're working together, and you have your unique ones too. So bringing them together really makes a difference. And that is something that I love about the way that the Magdalene cards came in. And when we talk about the Magdalenes, we often think of Mary Magdalene, and that the group of beings, the Magdalenes that are that I connected with, really came in sacred union. So Mary Magdalene and Jesus, Isis and Osiris. So this integration of the feminine and the masculine, the being and the doing, the non-physical and the physical. In the example for me, the higher planes, but also being very grounded on the physical plane, and really be a clue to unlocking that. And with the 24 Magdalene codes, or the 20 of them, there are two images that represent, like I pulled before this, the love conception cards. So there's a key card and a hologram card, like a masculine card and a feminine card. And when we look at them together, it really helps us bring that being state and that doing state together. So I know for me, in addition to like birthing my own bodies of work, that really created a quantum leap in revenue, adding in premium programs rather than dollars for hours when I was a massage there. Like, those are kind of the physical plane strategies. But on the energetic plane, I really feel like it's bringing together the being and the doing state into sacred union, because that's really what I needed and what I often see in our clients and folks as well. So those two sides that may be going like, oh, like how you were saying, I had to embrace my projector side.
Yeah. Well, I will say, like, you are you are the most grounded spiritual teacher I have ever met. Like, your feet are so planted on the ground in the physical realm, but yet I always sense, and part of you is always like up here, but you're one of the few people that when I tune in, like, can do both of those things so beautifully at the same time. And as everyone's listening to, what I love about Danielle, what I love about you is also your energy is so calm. And in this physical realm, we often feel like we have to hustle, we have to hurry. I know for me, like, I still work on that. Like this, like, if I'm not in that kind of frenetic hustle energy, then I'm not manifesting it. I'm not in that. And so I've had to, I know that that's not true, but it's something I struggle with. And so it's just so awesome to always see how you model this very just calm, grounded space, and have this massively successful business. So I just want to reflect that back to you, and for our listeners to just notice that about you, that you're showing us how it's possible to be in the peace, to be in the calm, to be in the joy. We don't have to move at 100 miles an hour to manifest what we desire. And what I'm curious about is how do the Magdalenes help you and others really do that? Because I believe that that's a big part of why you're able to be so grounded.
Yeah, I received that. Thank you. And, when the Magdalene codes came in and I was offering the program for the first time, was all about receiving more without doing more. And what the guides talk about, multi-dimensional abundance, which is simply said, abundance in multiple areas, that we're growing our health and our wealth and our time and our relationships and our contribution like together, so that we don't, have one going up and one going down, because that slows manifestation down. And, the Magdalene energy is also love and really working with the non-physical plane in communion with the physical plane, like in sacred union, but especially leveraging the non-physical, which we all have a capacity to do. And when I showed up to that first class, like I was burnt out. I had been in a place of overdoing, of overworking, and growth spurts that can be a part of it. And I'm a stand for walking my talk. And I knew that the Magdalene energies were going to make a difference in my journey. And they did, right? I had this vision of like working 4 days a week and having a 7-figure business and all the things. And then especially that first round, the time thing really came in, because my mission pillar can take over all the pillars if I let it. And I see that a lot for us as high achieving coaches that are here to make a big difference on the planet. And yet our mission really requires those resources. So yeah, I agree that it can seem counterintuitive, because we've all had incredible success creating by taking oodles of action. And yet we've also had those experiences where it seems like magical things just seem to pop into form. And there's something, of course, going on underneath that magic. So especially for high achieving and those of us who have strong masculine energy, I feel like the Magdalene codes and bringing in more love really helps to harmonize and to have it all working together, rather than this compartment over there and that compartment over there.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, just you're right. Like, especially the high achievers, and so many women in business who are listening to this that have that masculine energy driving them, which to me is really the old paradigm way of manifesting. And so one of the things you talk about a lot is multidimensional abundance. Can you talk about that? Like, share with our audience, like, what does that mean to you? And how do you help your clients begin to embrace that?
Yeah, well, multidimensional abundance to me is wealth in multiple areas simultaneously, that they're growing together, where it's not like clients increase and yet there's no time to spend with kids or loved ones or in self-care, because then that's where the upper limit system comes in, where we have a protective mechanism or system that shuts things down. So really, when we grow our abundance, even though we may be focused very much on one of the pillars of money, relationships, time, energy, contribution, it depends on what matters most to you, that even though we're focused on one, as long as the other ones are still growing as well, they all amplify one another. And sometimes it's counterintuitive, especially when we're going from multiple 6 figures to 7 figures, or starting our business and having our first client, like wherever anybody is.
Yeah.
to kind of let go sometimes of the focus on the money, and to bring in more of a focus on the relationships or the contribution. And even though it seems counterintuitive, it really works amazingly well. Like, I remember when we were calling in folks to join us in Egypt, that it was often when I was going for a walk with my friends, or I was getting a massage, that someone would sign up. Not when I was sitting at my computer, back in the day, going like, what else can I do? Now it's
yeah.
and so that's an example of perhaps Magdalene energy, the yin, the feminine, being more receptive. And then that's also where everything we've lined up on the physical plane starts to come into fruition. And also why I see with folks that work with us, especially who have the business strategy down and they're taking action, hooking up the energy piece, really can create that quantum leap. And then, of course, vice versa, they both have to be running and humming together. So yeah, in terms of multidimensional abundance, that's a little bit of what it is. And the other piece that I would say, which I think is very different, I don't hear a lot of folks talking about this, that the Magdalenes talk about, is it's also recognizing that our abundance temple, our resources that our mission requires, is so unique to us.
Mhm.
So we often can get into like comparisonitis, or may even want things that we don't even really want or don't even matter to us. So, one of the things I think the guides help with right away is also just to kind of let go of some of those things, to say, is that really a priority? Because is it even your desire? Is it really that divine desire? And then that takes the pressure off too of like the yummy money that's aligned for you, the relationships that are bespoke or custom made for you, because our missions are so unique. So to me, that's also another indication of the new paradigm, where we go out of like one size fits all, to really recognizing how unique our paths are, that you and I connected, and here we are, right? That precision, those things like synchronicity, or that they're all connected to a greater divine order.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that and really explaining it. Because I think it helps everyone get like, how do I live in both spaces, especially our women listeners, like who are maybe feeling like they're burning the candle at both ends. Okay. I feel like we have time for this last piece, and we'll see if hopefully you're up for it, because I didn't ask at the beginning, but it's on the list. So I'm curious about the horizontal energy field and the role of divine love and manifesting from a place of divine feminine receptivity. Any chance you can channel a message for us today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. I want to stay a little time. So I was okay. All right.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe I'll bring them in and they can talk about the horizontal field, and then any message that comes through. How's that sound?
That sounds amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, so as I'm connecting, just inviting you to really tune into a heart's desire, something that you would like to actualize or amplify, perhaps in your multi-D abundance temple. Maybe it's more energy today, or adding a couple aligned relationships, or increasing finances, or sharing your work in a larger way. Hello, dear ones. This is the Magdalene Council of Love that is moving more into the forefront of this divine transmission. And we invite you to really be in your sovereignty and your self as a creator being, amplifying your unique signature energy, that as we greet you, we are greeting you from a place of equality, from a place of equanimity, from a place of divine to divine. And that is an important place to begin in order for there to be a clear field for us to communicate. Because at times in any relationship, whether it's your relationship with money or your relationship with time or your mission or any relationship, there can be the overlay of the old paradigm of relationships running, where there's a power over or power under dynamic, where you may give away your power or you may have the grip of control very tight. And to recognize that we are here in response to your asking, we're happy to contribute, and yet it's always your choice to pick up what we're placing on the altar or not, to discern what's yours. And especially when it comes to connection with source, because connection with source, of course, is a divine relationship, God, Goddess, Great Spirit, all that there is. That is one of your greatest resources, whether that's nature for you, whatever your belief system is, that there can be such a habit in deferring power to the outside world, deferring power to even a manifestation. When this happens, then I will be happy, or then I will take a vacation, or if I had this, then my health would be better. So anywhere where there are those contingencies or correlations or overlays or separations onto a deferring onto the external, we're inviting you to reclaim that and to be more in your seat as a creator being. So that's the first message that we really have for this particular community in this now moment, is to be remembering anywhere that you may have placed nuggets of your power outside of you, to be calling back that which is uniquely you and yours. And also anywhere that, and this can happen unconsciously or accidentally, that your clients or your loved ones or individuals that you've never even met that see you on Facebook or wherever may have placed their power or projected their power or looked for you to be their savior, that you just also send back any energy that's in your field or in your business that you're carrying that's not uniquely you and yours, because you need your empowerment and everyone needs their empowerment, and it doesn't work that way anyway, and especially anymore. And so that brings us to creating abundance through love and coming into right relationships. So as we're talking about the equality, the equanimity, the equator, the horizontal field, if there's the cross or the ankh, where you have a vertical column and you have the horizontal column, that as what we call bipedals or humans, you have your spinal column in a vertical way. You spend time standing up, whereas a dog or a horse has their spine in more of a horizontal plane naturally. And as you're evolving in your actualizations and you're accelerating your manifesting and you're becoming more of an adept, bringing the cross together of the vertical and the horizontal plane, or the vertical representing light, the horizontal representing love, and having the sacred union of those, being and doing, the key and the hologram, all that you've already spoken about, is key to that next level of adeptness and really being able to widen your bandwidth. to receive more without doing more, to also be having a wider impact. And wider doesn't necessarily mean more. For some individuals, that the way that your mission is that you may have more of a boutique business where you're working with leaders who then are having a lot of individuals in their field, or maybe you have more of a business where you're working with hundreds of thousands of individuals. So the form is not what we're speaking about. We're talking about the quality and the full realization of your mission and what it is that you're here for. And having the horizontal plane really assists in that. So even though it may seem simple, one of the ways that you can collapse time, and one of the Magdalene card deck spreads for manifestation, is that you can create an altar where you have an intention to actualize X, Y, and Z in your multi-D abundance temple. And you pull a few cards to create an energy vortex or a container to hold that intention while it's making its way from the non-physical plane into the physical plane. And this is key, because the non-physical, your idea, what you want to manifest, is moving at a faster speed than the physical plane is moving at a slower speed. We didn't say lower, we just said slower. So there needs to be some kind of a transducer, and that's the moment where something crosses from non-physical to physical. And it may be a seed that's germinating on the ground, or it's that client that comes in, or the money that comes in the bank, or you meet the loved one, or whatever those things are. And so as you have the energy vortex set up before you go to sleep and you move into a horizontal plane, you move your body from sitting up or standing up into lying down. That can be such a beautiful, receptive way to be creating abundance through love. And then you're actually taking back however long you sleep, that many hours a day, as a part of your active manifesting project or practice, rather, that you have this extra time and space where while you're sleeping, you're calling to you, you're magnetizing that which is aligned for you. So that's a little bit about the horizontal plane, creating abundance through love, our message for this particular community. Is there any reflections or other questions that you may have?
That helps so much. And we forget that sleeping is also part of our manifestation process. And I don't know how I missed it. You probably said it before. The Magdalenes have that we're standing and lying down, and how that crosses, and that energy can bring in that which we desire more. So I guess just in closing, anything else the Magdalenes would like to share with us before we wrap up?
What we would close with is, one of the codes is exponential expansion. And we speak about the moment of stabilizing and expansion. So what you focus on after you create something will be making a world of difference in how natural it is to expand again, and to decrease the lag time in between your actualizations and your manifestations. So we know, as manifestation adepts and lovers of creating, you can spend more now moments focusing on when it's not here than when the thing does come into your life. So remember, take a breath, receive it, have gratitude, celebrate, and stabilize it, so that your abundance grows naturally and in a way that you are really resourced in the process. And as we're stepping aside, we would just acknowledge your contribution to the evolution in consciousness and invite you to really, as you're going throughout your day, be in your seat as creator beings. All is light and love, and we are all.
Awesome. Thank you to the Magdalenes, and thank you, Danielle. And as we're wrapping up, of course, everyone's curious. You held up some cards at the beginning, and we talked a little bit about that. So the Magdalene cards are being released. So tell us a little bit about the launch, how people can participate, what we should know.
Yeah, so the Magdalene Manifestation Cards, Create Abundance Through Love, is available wherever books are sold. And we're especially inviting folks, if it feels aligned, to grab a copy on Amazon. And then you'll probably have the link in the notes. Yet if you go to our site and then go to Amazon and bring your Amazon number back, we have this amazing manifestation toolkit that you can already dive into while you're waiting for your card deck to arrive, which includes like the affirmations for each of the 24 codes and images of them. So it's a really beautiful way to see the whole system together. And then there's a Yummy Money workshop in there, as well as a Meet the Magdalenes guide to or audio to assist you in meeting the Magdalenes and creating your manifestation team. So of course, getting your deck would be the way to help anytime between now and the launch date on May 16th and after, because of course, this is we're celebrating at the launch, and you know, it still keeps going. But if you do purchase on May 16th, we have this amazing bundle and also some super cool bonuses for multiple purchases. So if you have a manifestation circle you want to start, or you're a coach and you're looking for cool things to put in your retreat swag bags, if you buy 15 or more, we will come and do a private manifestation course for your clients, which is also cool, right? If you're on vacation, you still want to contribute. And then we do have a couple, if you buy 50 or more, for a half-day retreat with me and the guides.
Let's just hold that thought for a second. So for anyone who wants to buy 50, you get a half day with Danielle, either for yourself or for your community, which retails for over $7,500. And I think that's like a low estimate. It's worth way more than that. So I just want to make sure I plug that, because I'm definitely going to do that. We're going to hang out. I can't wait. And what a phenomenal gift. So I'm putting an exclamation point there to make sure people hear that and can jump into that if that feels aligned. And of course, at 15, you get you leading a course for the group or their group, which is amazing. Or get the one deck for yourself and treat yourself. So super exciting. Danielle, anything else we missed? So let's just clarify. So they can go to Amazon to find the Magdalene manifestation cards, or they can go to your website. We'll have all of this in the show notes so that they can see all the juicy gifts that they get. And all we need to do is, when we buy them on May 16th, or if you're listening to this after, you're welcome to also purchase then. I don't know that. So is it just May 16th for the super bonuses though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So we're going to make sure we get this out. We're going to get this out early. So I got to talk to my team to make sure it's like the day before so people can plan. So go to Danielle's website, see all the things, and then decide what is going to work best for you. All right, Danielle, anything else you want to mention about the Magdalene manifestation cards, or anything about your business, or anything you want our community to know?
Yeah, just really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me and inviting folks to add the cards to their manifestation, their actualization process, especially if like you were feeling ding, ding, ding when I was talking about having two parts that aren't fully on board together, so that the whole team is is rowing in the same direction, and energetically and on the physical plane, everything is working awesome together. So thank you, Ursula.
My pleasure. Danielle, Rama Hoffman, and the Magdalenes, thank you for hanging out with us today. We love having you. I'm so glad that you came back, and congratulations on the Magdalene manifestation card set. We wish you much success as it really reaches so many people that will now be able to experience it. So thanks for being here.
My pleasure.
And to our listeners all over the world, we love you. We love hanging out with you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for spending time with us today. If there's anything we can do for you, you can email us at contact@ursulainc.co. That's it for this week, everybody. Make this your most epic month yet.
Thank you for joining us today. And if you are ready to make your next quantum leap, let's do it. Ursula invites you to join us at the 2X Intensive. Go to salescoachnow.com/apply. Don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast app.